Coming up on your Friday Footy Feed. It's official, footy's back. We bring you all the details as the AFL unveils its plan to restart the season. Hello there, we'll have all of that news in just a moment, but on Monday make sure you check out our new Footy Feed Explainer series brought to you by AHM Health Insurance as we count down to the restart of the 2020 Toyota AFL Premiership season. Now on that, we finally have a date locked in, Thursday, June 11, the day that round 2 kicks off, 81 days since the final game of round 1 was played. Players will return to non-contact training on Monday and then resume contact training the following week on May 25. Gill McLachlan fronting the media today to make the announcement, the AFL boss admitting he had some doubts the season would resume.
Clearly, if you look, I think someone told me it's 54 days ago or something like that, I think then you must have had doubts. I think, I can only congratulate the response from our governments, the advice they're getting, and then the response of the community that puts us in a position that we are today. A lot of people in this industry and in the wider community stood down or have lost their jobs, and those are the ones that are doing it really hard. And I hope that as we take steps to get our game back on track, I hope that we for some people who are doing it tough, the footy is a bit of something to look forward to.
McLachlan says there will be some hiccups along the way, the latest hurdle coming earlier this week with restrictions in South Australia forcing the Crows and the Power to relocate to Queensland before May 25. West Coast and Fremantle will also move to the Sunshine State, but will complete their training block at their home bases and relocate before their first match. Families of players will be allowed to join them in the Queensland hub, with the AFL to foot the bill for food and accommodation. The fixturing of the remaining 144 games is still not locked in, but it is expected the teams based in Queensland will all play each other first.
It's been difficult to get a fixture up because of the uncertainty of the way the model will work, and it's changed, as you know, this week. So that'll be finalised in the coming week, but I think the most likely scenario is those teams will play each other in the first 4 rounds.
The AFL is still hopeful the grand final will be played at the MCG, but is continuing to work with other sports as they look to gain access to regular venues beyond September. So as part of the return to play, players will have to abide by a set of strict protocols, which includes being tested for COVID-19 twice a week. For all the details on this, let's cross now to our reporter Mitch Cleary. And Mitch, players won't have the same freedom as the rest of the community.
That's right, Nat. The players and officials will be forced into tougher social distancing restrictions than have been allowed for the general public, and they'll be placed in a set of new guidelines similar to the on-field match review system, with these sanctions to be based on the level of infringement.
We're going to be really tough on that. Now it's been established that it is part of the protocols, are part of the rules, and we'll be as transparent as we can about the accountability to those.
Now, those rules will be announced in coming days, but they are expected to result in suspensions at the higher end. There'll also be a limit on visitors to the homes of the players and officials, rules around essential trips, which could also force housemates or families into being tested, or even at the higher end, players being relocated out of their homes. That would come at the cost of the AFL.
There'll be a set of protocols that govern how each player can work outside, obviously at training and outside training, and who can be allowed in the house and who they can live with and how that works.
Will there be a list of who can visit that house and how?
Yeah, but broadly visitation won't be allowed, but it's based on the risk assessment.
Now, as we know, players and officials have all been tested for the first time this week. Those based in Melbourne coming at Marvel Stadium, with the rest at their own clubs. Now, the tests will increase to twice a week, 24 hours before each of the 2 contact sessions that will be allowed from May 25. And the reason being, the results will be returned before those sessions to ensure they are safe. And Nat, just finally, the Lions and Suns have received their flu jabs. The league also confirming today that the Eagles, Dockers, Crows and Power will need them as well. to abide by the Queensland rules in order to be based on the Gold Coast.
All right, thanks for that, Mitch. Mitch Cleary reporting there. So let's get some reaction now from the rest of the footy world as clubs prepare to resume non-contact training on Monday. Brisbane coach Chris Fagan is relieved to have footy back and is looking forward to hosting the 4 clubs from WA and SA.
You know, Queensland's able to provide the environment for those guys to come up here and spend some time and play their footy. It's not the worst place in the world to be if they've got to be in a hub. It's pretty good up here at this time of year. Well, they're all 4 very good sides from those states, so just because we play them here in Brisbane doesn't mean it's going to be any easier for us. We just got to be ready for each challenge as it comes along and make sure we do our best.
Meantime, giant Lachie Whitfield admits it will be hard to be subjected to tougher social distancing rules, but it's a sacrifice he's happy to make.
It's going to be good to get back amongst the group on Monday. I'm pretty excited just to see everyone's face. And yeah, game's around the corner. It's good. So we know how to social distance really well, and we know the guidelines in terms of staying in our homes and going to the club and to Woolies only. So if that's the case, I know they're still nutting out the finer details of that, but I'm sure everyone's willing.
Chris Fagan and Lachie Whitfield there, and that is the news for this Friday. Make sure you check out our new Footy Feed Explainer series on Monday. We're keeping things simple thanks to AHM Health Insurance, but for now, have a great weekend.